sweats. Of the sweats, day and night.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my training vlog. This is episode 4 of Chasing 600. What you're about to see is my final week of training prior to surgery on my left shoulder, which was November 25th, 2013. As I record this, it's now December 18th, 2013, so it's been a few weeks. Recovery's going well, and you'll see some footage of some training I've done while in recovery. So what you'll see is this is my first attempt at sumo deadlifts since June, my very first attempt. You'll see me attempt to wiggle my way down into proper sumo position for me, and what you can see is I can't quite get there. So what I did was raise my hips just slightly to compensate for my lack of flexibility. This is totally okay, as long as your hips are lower than your shoulders, and I'll show you that later. So here's Chris Keeley again, doing some more deadlifts. We deadlifted 2 weeks in a row together. He's still closing in on his strength deficit, so he's got a little ways to go, but he made some good improvements over that week in strength. And this is Cindy doing form work with her deadlifts. She's been doing this for quite some time, and she's made some great improvements on her deadlift form and her strength. Don't forget, guys, anytime you can improve your form with the same poundage, that is in fact a strength increase. So here we go with 315. What I like to do is a conventional pull and then switch to sumo. And again, guys, and I'm going to pause this. I'm going to attempt to wiggle my way down into sumo position, and with my lack of flexibility both in my adductors and my hamstrings, I can't quite get there. But I am going to pause it and show you that my hips are a little higher than they would normally be, but when I initiate the pull, there is not much movement there, and that's the most important thing. So here goes. I raise my hips just slightly, right there, and then when I pull, watch my hip height. Very minimal difference. That's what you want to focus on. You don't want to round your back and shoot your hips up in the air, because then it's a lower back movement. It's dangerous on the low back. There's Chris going after a 10-pound increase in strength. He didn't get it, but he out-repped himself from last week. So here's 360. Again, a little hip raise. And no bowing in the low back. That's important. I can't tell you how uncomfortable these felt, guys, but what I didn't realize until I reviewed the footage is my form actually was pretty good, even though it felt terrible when I was doing it. God. That was actually pretty funny. I did not expect that to feel that heavy. I normally am really strong in sumo position, and 405 is a very easy pull for me. So I just yanked it off the floor. So here's Chris going after 315 for reps.
There you go.
He gets 3, which is an increase from last week, and that's really all that matters. We're still developing Chris's form. He's got an awful lot of strength reserve, and we're going to tap into every ounce of that. He has no idea what he's capable of yet, but he will.
Yes, sir.
Nice pull, Chris. 315 for 3, an improvement from last week. And how about Cindy working with 145 there? Watch her form. Again, she's been really focusing on her form and doing what I call form work, what I would consider form work, which is basically just doing sets of 1, 2, and 3 with an emphasis on form and not necessarily poundage. Nice job, Cindy. So here we go. One of my favorite things to do, which is a rep out set with 315. Last week from this video, I did 315 for 14. My personal best is 315 for 19. I don't know if you're counting. Should I tell you? Should I make you wait? Now I'll go ahead and tell you. So I ended up with 315 for 19 reps. So what happened was I've hit the number 19 twice before, thinking it was 20. Not that it really matters, but and gone to review the footage only to find out it was only 19 reps. And been like, man, what in the world? So I aimed for 21. I often lose count in these high rep sets, but I counted 21 reviewed the footage, and got 19 reps again. And then I passed out. Haha, just kidding. So there you have it, guys. 315 for 19 reps. I really wish I had gotten 20 or 21, but I will. I promise. As you can see, that wasn't failure. So as Chris reps out 275, and he gets 2 reps better than last week. And that's really all that matters, guys. As long as you make progress somewhere in your workout. Anyhow, as he reps out 275, I'm going to review a few things, a few pieces of data that I gathered in my own training that's really important. First thing, and most important to me, sumo pulls. I cannot do sumo deadlifts heavy without practicing the sumo deadlift.
Go.
That's important because I need more hamstring flexibility and more adductor flexibility, and I'm only going to get that type of flexibility by practicing the movement itself. Also, I can't pull heavy. At least I can't pull my max without practicing getting my hands on the heavier poundages, and I believe that has something to do with the nervous system. In other words, the carryover from strict form work with lighter weights and higher intensities with lighter weights does not carry over enough to support me in the heavier pulls, so I need to practice pulling heavier more often to get closer to my max. And also, guys, I experimented with the frequency of training, and I ended up overtraining. I'll talk about that in a minute. So this is Michael Freiberg. He is brand new to powerlifting. I recruited him from TurboCam in Barrington, New Hampshire. I noticed he had some really incredible hip strength. And I said, have you ever considered powerlifting? And he said, no, he's a sprinter. I said, well, I really think you'd be good at it. And this is his very first max poundage squat session. And he rips 365 so easily. It just blew my mind. He out-squatted me that day. Again, I was mentioning overtraining a minute ago. I had a major hip issue, which I attributed to teaching a lot of boot camp classes and just doing too much cardio, which for me was just a couple times a week. Just too much activity all around. I ended up with an extremely tight soleus, and my hip came out of joint for a long time. I ended up with a strained sartorius muscle, which is a hip supporter. I tried to train through it. I ended up weaker and in a lot of pain. Anyway, this is 315. I like the fact that he's recording me from the backside. This is an angle I don't often get to peek at in my own form. See the knees come in? I pause it so you guys can see that. And even in that position, my knees are still over my toes. I'm pretty happy that when my form broke, it still wasn't too bad. Pardon me, guys, that was actually 335 I just did there. So here we are on to deadlifts. So I just wanted to introduce him to deadlifts, heavy deadlifts. I tried to set him up with his form. I think he tried to mimic the speed at which I was pulling. I should have coached him a little bit better on that. He kind of yanked the barbell here and lost his balance. But you can see, guys, he is outrageously strong. I cannot wait to work with him some more and see just what he's capable of. I'm pretty sure he's going to be well into the 500s in both his squat and his deadlift within a year if he commits to it. And again, this is his very first session. And he squats 365 and deadlifts 405. His very first time. Can you imagine? So I'm about to attempt 425 here in a number of different positions. And I don't get it because I'm injured. I had a strained sartorius, trouble with my soleus and my calf from doing too much activity. I was teaching boot camps. I was trying to deadlift 3 times a week. It was way too much. I ended up overtrained and injured, and I didn't let it rest. Imagine that, guys. Practice what you preach. So I couldn't perform heavy deadlifts without being in pain. Imagine that. So, a lot of data, guys. I'm really excited to move forward, and I can't wait for you guys to see the next episode. See you next time.